My brother's 3.5 years younger than me. He's the opposite of me. I'm short, skinny. He's big, tall, and a little heavier. I grew up always doing martial arts. It was like my favorite TV shows as a kid. Obviously the original Ninja Turtles, the original Power Rangers, you know, the original Three Ninjas, and I ended up going into a traditional Taekwondo academy that was ran by a very unorthodox, traditional Vietnamese instructor, something like you would see off of like the old Best of the Best movie. And I did that. I became the youngest real adult black belt in Taekwondo in Canada at the time, and then of course going up in high school, I had my fitness issues. I didn't really know where my place. I wasn't a drama star, so I ended up playing hockey. I ended up being the guy who had the most penalty minutes and was the smallest guy, but always was like the scrapper. So I quit that, went back into martial arts, and it's been my calling ever since. Actually, that's why I went into martial arts, because I was always bullied. Self-defense, that's when my parents put me in it. Martial arts, see, I believe martial arts is a term and MMA is another term, but martial arts teaches self-confidence, so you learn that in school. You obviously self-defense and how to protect yourself. Those were the three reasons that my parents wanted to put me into martial arts and kind of agreed to it. My instructor always emphasized that if you're going to be in this martial arts school, that you can never obviously fight outside, and we were punished if we were caught fighting, bullying, or you know, being bullied. If someone was being bullied and you were the third party, you had to stick up for them. It's just part of being a martial artist. At the same time, if you were the bullier, you know, you were kicked out. I never was in an altercation ever. I just avoiding it. Self-defense, learning how to use your mouth to avoid situations, and just not being at it. Using your sixth senses. You know, if you feel what's around you, if you're not feeling, you know, safe or something like that, or just in a not ideal area, then going somewhere else where you feel more comfortable, and just, you know, situational factors as a martial artist. Like Chuck Norris used to have this thing, it's like World Extreme Combating. It was like continuous point sparring. In 2006, I went to the World Martial Art Games, and I won 3 silver medals in the Grand Championship. It's where all the gold medal winners and silver medal and bronze medal winners, they fight in one tournament, open weight. And I actually won silver in that, but I broke my arm. I was in university, so I fractured my arm. I actually got kicked, flew off the ground. You know, I separated my shoulder, didn't know about my arm until later that night. But anyway, I broke my arm, I went to university, and I didn't do anything for 4 months. My New Year's resolution was to get back into martial arts, and I was in Saskatoon, and it's like a white and Indian town, and there was no real martial arts schools that were legitimate to what I came from and to my background. They were kind of, I wouldn't say fraud, mockery, kind of, but they were cheesy, you know, and coming from such a high standard level of martial arts to seeing cheesiness, I just didn't buy it. So I ended up joining this fight club, and they put me in as a can to get beat up against some ripped Chinese guy, and I ended up kicking him in the head like 10 times and finishing him. And I was just addicted, you know. I don't even think there was MMA shorts back then. They had a couple sprawl shorts, but this is back in 2007. I had my first fight 20 days into training MMA, and I wore the Speedos, the trunks that, you know, old creepy guys wear at the beach. yeah. And then I was just addicted ever since to that adrenaline rush of, it's kind of like a girl's wedding day, you know. They get that moment walking down the aisle on that day. Well, we get that moment in the cage after you win, and no one can take that away. I was addicted to that feeling ever since. Back in the early UFCs, you always noticed you had guys that were a master of one martial art, and they had no idea of any others. And as martial arts evolved to today, now everyone's good at everything. You need to learn all martial arts. So I was fortunate because I learned from a traditional style of martial arts where it didn't teach fraud, it didn't teach, you know, it wasn't a business. He put money into it. He taught us true martial arts from like I say, watch the movie Best of the Best, watch the Korean team. That's how we train. And so as a martial artist, I think you need to be good at one thing, learn one martial arts. And I think that's almost a mistake. As kids, they come into MMA as a kid, well, no, if you want to look at the high percentage martial arts, boxing, kickboxing / jiu-jitsu and wrestling, a kid needs to be put into a martial arts right when they're 5 years old. And I'd say either a taekwondo or karate or something like a jiu-jitsu would be more modern, but something that teaches you the self-discipline, the self-respect, all the traditional martial art values into a martial arts, and then growing. So let's say you learn one martial arts, you learn the values as a kid. That's very important, that's the foundation. And then, you know, you become a master at one, or you learn, and then you slowly start learning another martial art. So for me, I learned taekwondo, then I learned kickboxing, then I learned grappling, then I learned jiu-jitsu, and now I'm working on wrestling and back on my striking again. It's kind of like an evolution where you focus on different, you know, you have 5 or 6 martial arts that are predominantly in modern MMA, and then you take those and you put them together and you got to learn different aspects. And now it's so crazy because you don't actually have someone who's a master at one thing. Those, if you look at all the world champions in modern MMA, they all were a master at one thing before they started something else. So I think that's key. I think everyone who's really highly successful in modern MMA was a master, or not a master, but they perfected one martial art before they learned another one. They perfected that while they keep up the other one. Now they're keeping up 2 martial arts while they're learning a 3rd. Before you know it, you become a mixed, all-rounded martial arts, you know, athlete or MMA. Okay, well, fighting is something I've always been good at naturally. I never did like the actual fighting. You know, but I like competing. But for me, fighting is most important right now because it's what I'm best at. It's what I'm good at. It's what all my friends, anyone who knows or cares about me, they're like, you know, martial arts is in my blood. Fighting is most important because I need to win every fight so that I get picked up by the UFC, or I get noticed by these people who are going to provide a means of living for me to do this as a career. Because right now I've been very successful since I've been coming to alpha male for 2 years. I've had 4 fights. I've dominated 3, won 3 of them, lost a very close decision. You know, whatever, I left it to the hands of the judges, but bottom line is I've been successful. I need to ensure that in every fight I'm successful so that I can make this a career, because as a pen guard, I'm only committing less than 50% of my time to fighting, and I'm seeing success. If I can commit 100% of my time, I'm going to be in the UFC. Like, all my main teammates are in the UFC. It's in my blood. That's where I want to be. That's what I need to make my priority. So I'm here. I have 2 months off without pay, and I'm trying to get another fight win, so I can get called up by the UFC, or you know, and get paychecks where it's going to give me equivalent to $60,000, $70,000 a year, so I can live comfortably and train, dedicate 100% rather than try to get a $60,000 salary job and put all my money back into fighting. And really, I'm only putting 50%. So I need to put 100% into fighting because that's all I'm good at. It's all I know. It's my passion. I want to make my passion my work. And coming down here to Sacramento, where you have all your role models, Uriah Faber, Cheetah Dillashaw, Chris Holsworth, Danny Castillo, Andre Fili, Joseph Benavidez. These are all guys that are obviously successful in the UFC, but these are all guys that have chosen whatever it is in their life to make their passion their work, and they're happy and successful. So that's what I want to do. Martial arts is my brand. I'm always going to Carr Martial Arts. I'm always going to be a martial artist. This is my very first tattoo. It's what my life is all about. Whenever I'm done fighting, I want to open up a martial arts academy, and I want to be an entrepreneur with martial arts. I want to open up an at-risk youth program for children, at-risk youth, to do martial arts as either crime prevention or through private or public schools, because we have all this phys ed. There's no reason why jiu-jitsu or a bang Muay Thai system cannot be implemented into schools. My name's Owen Carr. I'm 27 years old. I'm a future bang Muay Thai black belt. You can follow me on Twitter at Carr Martial Arts, or on Instagram at Carr Martial Arts. And don't forget to follow The Body and all his upcoming fights. And I just want to thank Team Alpha Male for giving me a home for martial arts and my modern life. So thank you.